What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Shawn. Showtime. Porter, get this. Shawn Porter names the best fighter that he's ever fought. Now, he started with Keith Thurman. He said, when I fought Keith Thurman in his prime, we were talking about it just the other day. The guy says, I don't think we saw Keith reach his prime. And I said, well, if you really look at his prime, was me. His prime was Danny Garcia. After that, injuries. After that, the loss of focus in different things of that nature. After that, I think right there was his prime. Keith Thurman in his prime is an amazing boxer. Then he moved on to talk about Errol Spence, to whom he had a split decision back in 2019. And he said, Errol Spence Jr., you can't deny anything about that kid. I really do think I got him at the perfect time. I really think he hadn't gone through just enough in the sport to learn about himself in order to kind of, nullify some of the things I was able to do in the ring. In many ways, I really had my way in that fight, or a lot of that fight. And then the discussions turned into another pound for pound in Terrence Crawford, whom Porter calls one of the most athletic and cerebral fighters that he's been in the ring with. He said, when pushed for one name, he settles on Terrence Bud Crawford. He says, I take Errol out first because, again, I don't think Errol was everything that he is now. I think he's better now than he was when he fought me. I mean, it's between Keith and Terrence, and I'll go with Terrence. I think Terrence is just a bit stronger mentally, maybe. That's a tough one. Hard to call. Those are the words of Shawn Porter. And let me counterpunch. First of all, shout out to Shawn Porter, because Shawn Porter broke down everyone on how he felt at certain time frames, because timing is everything when it comes to boxing. And Shawn fought everyone. Ugas, Garcia, Errol, Keith, Terrence. I mean, he fought everybody. Brooke. Bro, he fought everyone. And the deal is, the question is it Keith Thurman in his prime, or is it Terrence Crawford now when he just recently fought him? And he said he has to go with Terrence Crawford. And I understand that. Why? Because it's better to go with Crawford based on the outcome alone. If Keith Thurman was the best in his prime when he fought Shawn Showtime, then he would have done what Terrence Crawford was able to do, stop Shawn Porter, okay? Shawn was stopped by Terrence Crawford. Shawn was convinced, Shawn's father was convinced to stop that fight with Terrence Crawford. So if anything, it would be Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford, not only is in his prime now, but he was able to do things that Keith Thurman in his prime couldn't do to Shawn Porter. Okay? So I think by default, by result of the knockout over the split decision loss to Keith Thurman, I think Terrence Crawford should be. Now, he took nothing away from Errol Spence, because Errol Spence, and I believe the same way Shawn Porter do, I think Errol Spence is better now because he's been through more shit. He's been through it. Okay? And he had to go through it to know more about himself, to become a man. Back then, he was a young man, but now he's a grown man. And I think that grown man can. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Shawn Showtime Porter choosing the best fighter that he's ever been in the ring with, which is Terrence Bud Crawford. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!